The sound of ratchets, air guns, and revving engines echoed through the garage. Jack wiped his hands with a dirty cloth, his coverall stained from years of work under the hood. It was just another day at Harlan's Auto Works, the place where broken machines came in and left roaring again. Today, however, something was different. Jack had brought his 13-year-old daughter Maya with him. Her school was closed for renovations, and he couldn't leave her alone at home. She sat quietly in the corner, sketching car engines in a notebook, her ponytail swinging slightly as she flipped through pages filled with hand-drawn diagrams. The other mechanics didn't pay her much attention. She was just the mechanic's daughter, a kid, and nothing more. At least that's what they thought, until the challenge arrived. Mr. Harlan, the owner, walked through the garage with his usual gruffness. "Chevy Impala," he growled, pointing at the lifted car on Bay 3. "It's been here 2 days. Still won't start. I've had 3 guys check it, nothing. We're losing money." He glanced at Jack. "Your turn." Jack nodded, hesitant. The car had been a headache. No diagnostic tool was catching the real issue, and the team was nearly ready to give up. As Jack moved toward the car, Maya quietly stood up, curiosity sparkling in her eyes. She had watched her father for years, memorizing every wire he touched, every bolt he tightened. She wasn't just doodling cars for fun, she was learning, absorbing like a sponge. "Dad," Maya said softly, walking up behind him as he opened the hood. Jack turned, slightly surprised. "Not now, Maya. It's complicated." But she peeked over the edge anyway and began observing. Mr. Harlan noticed and laughed. "What's she doing? Gonna fix it with crayons?" A few workers chuckled. Maya stayed quiet, her eyes locked onto the engine. After a moment, she pointed to a spot near the throttle body. "That sensor's loose. It might be confusing the ECU." Jack blinked, looking where she pointed. It was the crankshaft position sensor, not an obvious failure point. Mr. Harlan raised an eyebrow. "Why not? Let the kid try. Can't make it worse." Jack, still unsure, grabbed his wrench and gently adjusted the sensor based on Maya's observation. Everyone in the garage paused, watching. Jack turned the key in the ignition. The engine coughed once, then roared to life. The rumble echoed like thunder. Silence fell across the garage. Mr. Harlan's jaw dropped slightly. "What the hell?" One of the senior techs muttered. "It was that simple?" Maya took a step back, nervous under all the eyes now locked on her. Her dad turned toward her, both stunned and proud. "How did you know that?" he asked. Maya shrugged, her voice soft. "I read the engine schematics last night, and I saw you work on this model last year. You fixed the same problem then." Mr. Harlan walked over slowly, almost suspicious. He examined the sensor and shook his head. "You know what you just saved us?" he muttered. $1,000. Client, 2 days of delay, and a whole lot of embarrassment. He looked at Jack. "She really figured that out herself?" Jack nodded slowly, still in disbelief. "She's been watching everything for years." Maya tucked her hands into her hoodie pocket and stepped back. It just made sense. The men around her weren't laughing now. They were whispering, exchanging looks of surprise and admiration. For the first time, Maya wasn't invisible. By lunch, the news had traveled to the front office. The receptionist came down to see the little genius who saved the garage. Even clients waiting for their vehicles peeked in to get a look. One man chuckled. "That girl's smarter than half the guys at my dealership." Jack pulled Maya aside and offered her a soda. "You okay?" he asked. She smiled and nodded. "Yeah, I just wanted to help." He placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did more than help. You proved everyone wrong." Maya's confidence was rising, but she didn't show it. She wasn't one to brag. She loved engines, not attention. The rest of the day, She sat quietly near the office, but something had changed. Every now and then, a mechanic would come by and ask, "Hey, what do you think about this problem?" At first, she thought they were joking, but then she realized they were serious. Mr. Harlan, still watching her from across the garage, finally called her over in the late afternoon. He reached into a small drawer and pulled out an old Harlan's AutoWorks badge. "You're not an employee," he said, "but you're definitely part of this team now." He handed her the badge. "We call the ones who fix the impossible family." Jack's eyes welled up. Maya held the badge in her palm like it was made of gold. That night, when they got home, she didn't turn on cartoons or play games. She sat at the kitchen table, opened her sketchbook, and began designing her own engine model, one that would fix everything wrong she'd seen in broken-down cars. She wasn't just going to help her dad anymore. She had a bigger dream now, and it had just begun in the middle of a dusty, greasy garage where nobody believed in her. Until they had no choice but to. Maya couldn't sleep that night. Her mind kept replaying the moment the engine came to life, the stunned silence, and the proud smile on her father's face. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the badge Mr. Harlan gave her clutched tightly in her hand. It was old and slightly scratched, but to her, it was a symbol of being seen, of finally being taken seriously. Her little corner of the world had changed in one afternoon, and although she didn't fully understand it yet, she felt something spark inside her, purpose. The next morning, she woke up earlier than her father and was already dressed in jeans and a hoodie, her sketchbook tucked under her arm. Jack laughed when he saw her ready to go. "You planning to take my job?" she grinned. "No, I'm planning to build something better." Back at the garage, things felt different. Maya wasn't invisible anymore. The same men who had laughed the day before now greeted her with nods and smiles. One of the younger mechanics even offered her a donut and asked if she wanted to see how a carburetor rebuild worked. She accepted politely, notebook in hand, sketching diagrams while he explained. Mr. Harlan kept a close eye on her from his office window. She was calm, focused, and sharp, qualities some of his own men lacked. By midday, a customer brought in an old pickup that wouldn't idle properly. 3 of the guys tried, checked the basics, cleaned the injectors, and ran a diagnostic scan. Still nothing. Maya stood quietly behind them, observing, not interrupting. Finally, she stepped forward and pointed to the air intake system. "Try cleaning the idle air control valve. I think it's stuck open." The tech shrugged. "Worth a shot." They cleaned it. It worked out. From that moment on, she was unofficially part of the crew. Mr. Harlan still didn't openly admit it, but every time a stubborn issue popped up, he would casually say, "Maya, you got a second?" Her father watched with pride as she gave suggestions and offered solutions, not guesses, but thoughtful, well-reasoned ideas. One evening, as they packed up, Mr. Harlan handed Jack an envelope. Inside was a voucher for a 2-week online automotive engineering course. "For Maya," he said. "She's got something special. Let's not waste it." Jack was speechless. He had always wanted more for his daughter, but he never imagined it would start like this. From a dusty garage and a broken-down Chevy Dot at home, Maya dived into the course like it was a game. She breezed through modules on engine theory, fuel systems, electrical diagnostics, all the things most adults found intimidating. Her room turned into a mini-lab with parts from junkyard toys and old manuals spread across her desk. She even tried building a working model of a rotary engine, using soda cans and 3D printed parts. Every week, she'd visit the garage on weekends, helping out, learning, and quietly impressing everyone. Jack made sure she still stayed balanced. Her school came first, but he now understood that what Maya had was not just interest. It was instinct, a gift, 3 months later, something big happened. A representative from a nationwide garage chain stopped by unexpectedly. He had heard about the little girl who fixed the Impala and wanted to see if the rumors were true. Mr. Harlan was nervous. The garage didn't usually attract that kind of attention. The man was polite, wore a sharp coat, and asked to meet. The girl, when Maya appeared, her hands greasy and her sketchbook under her arm, he smiled. "You really figured out that sensor issue?" She nodded. He showed her a schematic from another failing engine. "Can you find the error here?" She studied it, flipped a page in her notebook, and pointed. "There's a short in the ground wire from the control module. That loop shouldn't be closed." The man blinked. "Correct." He turned to Mr. Harlan. "She's not ordinary." The visitor left after praising Maya's insight, but he left behind a card, an invitation to a nationwide youth robotics and mechanics competition sponsored by a tech company. Maya looked at it for a long time that night. She was nervous. She was just a garage girl, not a polished prodigy from a big city school, but her father encouraged her. "You already surprised an entire garage. What's one more stage?" She signed up. The competition was 2 months away, and she knew the pressure would be higher than ever. But she also knew one thing. Fixing engines wasn't just something she could do, it was something she was meant to do. As the sun set one evening, Jack sat on the porch, watching Maya tinker with a small electric scooter they had salvaged. Wires, bolts, and schematics surrounded her. "You know," he said, "I used to think I was the best mechanic in the house." Maya looked up and smiled, grease smudged across her cheek. "You still are," she said. "I'm just the upgrade." They both laughed. But deep down, Jack knew. His daughter wasn't just an upgrade. She was the future of something bigger. All it took was one moment, one engine, and one dare to change everything.